Now hey, those are the murderous ones, killing my people for fun. That's what they does. Living's a hazardous stunt. Born with too much melanin. We never run. Live like the Cadillacs do. Cannons and battle axe too. Don't fuck with Joe. We show you how to act true. That white and blow. That white and blow. You can't keep us. No, you can't keep us under your thumb. You can't keep us. No, you can't keep us under your thumb. You can't keep us. No, you can't keep us under your thumb. You can't keep us. No, you can't keep us under your thumb. You can't keep us under your thumb. No, you can't keep us under your thumb. No, you can't keep us under your thumb. You can't keep us. No, you can't keep us under your. Do you feel the pain in our voice? That's why we're murderous boys. This ain't just noise. Play with them tools like they toys. Shoot like we ain't got no choice. Search and destroy. Hop in the Cadillac ride. Howitzer hang out the side. We never hide. This why we do what we do. That white and
All right, everybody. What's going on? Today, I'd like to introduce a good friend of a day ago. We have our friend Sinix. Hey, bud.
Hey, how's it going?
Let me turn down the music. How's everything going, man?
It's good.
Oh wait, hold on. Sorry, I did this the wrong way.
You're a mess right now.
I'm totally a mess. I'm really new to this whole streaming thing. It's not good. So how you doing today?
I'm good. I just woke up.
Oh.
I'm great.
So I don't know if you want to do any demos or anything, or if you want me to just sketch and we'll just chat. It doesn't really matter to me.
I didn't even think of that actually. That was. Well, you can do your sketch and maybe we'll see how it goes. Maybe if I need to, I will.
You can
I will be
critique.
ready.
You can critique me and say what the hell's going on. What are you doing?
Yes, I'm good at that.
Awesome. So let's see. I had a lot of people in the in our Discord asking a lot of questions. So why
By
don't
the way,
you
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
Words come through the microphone.
That's totally fine. If you want, for anybody who for some reason doesn't know you, you want to introduce yourself, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Let's see. My name is Sinix. No, I run a YouTube channel, Sinix Design. Basically, I used to be a concept artist very early on, briefly. Worked for a couple different little projects, little studios, did some stuff for EA. But it wasn't for me. It's not for everyone. And I decided to just take a different route and try to do more teaching type stuff. And now I teach at Laguna College of Art and Design. And I do my YouTube videos, and it's a lot more enjoyable. I just work for myself.
That's cool. Can you talk about why you like doing the YouTube and teaching more than concept art?
Sure. Well, yeah. I first of all, I never I didn't dream as a kid to become a concept artist. I came into it very late in life. Like I didn't even start doing art until I was almost 20 years old. So when I came into it, I didn't really plan, especially didn't plan to be a concept artist. I got into it because I was like, I'm gonna do little comics for myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Or just try to be like a comic book person, make little graphic novels. But as soon as I started doing art, I kind of fell in love with the concept, not necessarily concept art, but conceptart.org, like the website.
Yeah, yeah.
I fell in love with the art on that website and all those talented people. So I just kind of was drawing, the type of stuff they were drawing and learning all the stuff. And I was really enjoying design. I fell in love with design more than anything.
That's really cool.
So, but as someone who didn't go to art school, I mentioned it to you last night. I started getting job offers and I didn't really function well under deadlines because I had no experience, being given assignments and trying to follow through with them.
Okay, yeah.
So that whole process, when I just was thrown into it kind of without, first of all, I never looked for a job in concept art. I just got jobs offered to me. And I was like, well, I guess I got to take it. That's what you do if you're doing art. You got to take the job. So I took the jobs, and then it's like, here's an assignment, here's a deadline, and we need you to do this. And I was like, oh, okay. And it was just a mess. It was me trying to do stuff and just feeling super stressed out. I'm like, I've never had to do stuff for other people,
Yeah, it's definitely weird when
everyone's job feels like they're riding on me or something. The way they talk about it, they're like, yeah, we gotta do this pitch to the the higher ups at EA or whatever. So make sure you got this stuff going. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and especially when you go from doing stuff just for yourself as opposed to then having to do it for somebody else, I feel like that can be a really difficult transition.
Yeah, so I don't know. I tried it for a while, had a complete nervous breakdown. Just I literally broke out in hives, stress hives from the EA thing, while I was doing that job.
Damn.
And I was like, what am I doing? This is not I was having so much fun just learning art and kind of that analytical side of things, and now I'm just a complete miserable mess. And it set me back a huge amount because I stopped doing art for years following that.
Oh, okay.
just like maybe draw a little bit here and there. But I just like retreated into, video games and stuff like that for years, until I was like, no, I really liked that first side of art, the analytical part, just kind of figuring stuff out, the community especially. And I'm like, okay, what if I just focus on something like doing YouTube videos or just trying to do educational stuff? And so much, it's way more enjoyable. It suits me. And now even teaching like at an art college, I'm like, this is so much better than all that other stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool. I feel like I'm kind of in a similar position where like I initially started seeing concept art online, and I really didn't get into drawing until 2 years ago. And I don't know, I saw the stuff online. I was like, oh, that's what people that have some sort of skill set are doing. They're going into concept art. So I just made that my sort of like aimless directory. I was like, yeah, I'll do concept art. But I had done music earlier in life, and I had a bit of success with the YouTube. So I was like, I'll try it again. And I don't know, I kind of like the whole teaching thing. And I feel like I get to improve my illustration skills and not have too many deadlines except for the ones that I self-impose.
Yeah, it's great. It keeps your passion very alive for art, which is a great thing. Because I have a lot of friends that will work at studios and work at things, and they just feel like they stall out, in terms of art progression.
Yeah.
It's like it just locks you in. So and they feel very kind of miserable about it when they look back, because they're like, well, I feel like I haven't improved for like 5 years or something. I've just been grinding away as like a member of a team.
Yeah, I feel like I'm now, I don't have too much experience in it at all, but I feel like you'd have to kind of rely on the skill set that you have, and you don't really get a lot of time to practice things that you're not as comfortable with. I don't know if I'm mistaken about that,
but no, yeah, you're definitely, it locks you in at whatever your kind of skill set and like things are. You're not like experimenting anymore,
Okay.
Which is the main problem. And at that point, if you're working for a studio like long hours, you don't really have time, or like you don't have that motivation to do art. Well, a lot of people don't. Some people do, but you don't have that motivation to do art in your free time when you're like doing it all day for some other kind of boring, mundane stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh man, do you read your chat, by the way?
No, I don't. I have no idea what's going on in the chat. I'm trying to sketch and let's see.
You want me to read some of the chat?
Sure,
I
sure.
can read the chat little.
They were telling me last time that I'm a terrible interviewer. So maybe they'll be better interviewers than I am.
I was just I'll take a look at this.
Sure.
Chat. They were talking about is it ever too late to become an artist or to learn stuff like that? Do you have any opinion on that?
I don't think so. I was for me, I went to medical school, so like I spent so many years doing collegiate stuff, going to school, taking classes, and then finally I kind of just got fed up and I said, this isn't for me. I really just don't like this. I don't feel any satisfaction out of it, and it does require some sacrifice. I think it requires you to, if you're going to pursue it and try to do it in a professional sense, you will have to give up something else, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe if you have, you're trying to support a family, I feel like that would be the biggest imposition. But if you're a single person, I think it's never too late. I don't know what your take is on that.
That's true. Well, I don't know if they're just more referring to like working in an industry, because there is some truth to like companies, they always want to hire young people. And if you get into it late and you're just reaching your prime in the art world, but maybe you're like 50 years old, you're probably gonna have some trouble getting like a job at a video game studio or something.
Yeah.
Compared to like a young person. But when it comes to other aspects of art, like doing freelance or doing just like illustrative stuff, just I guess freelance in general though, or just anything like that, I don't think it matters how old you get into it or like how old you are. I feel like most aspects of the art world, it doesn't matter, but maybe they're referring more to like actually being able to at certain ages. I don't know, neuroplasticity, all that stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, once you start getting neurological issues, that might be a problem that it's too late to, you know, get into art. But
I will say, for the most part, I feel like if you had the same amount of free time, which obviously as you get older, most people don't because of families and stuff.
yeah,
But all things being equal to being younger, I feel like you can educate yourself in a much more intelligent and faster way as like when you're older versus say being I don't know, like 18 or something. I think being 28, you'd be able to learn a lot faster. Usually you understand yourself a lot more and you understand how to get to your goals much better.
yeah, I think that's a good point. I found that as well
Yeah.
with this like again, I'm 25. I got into art I think about 23, maybe 22. I had always drawn a little bit, but I never really prioritized it. But I felt like I had a decent approach to learning, and I thought I think it helped affect the how fast I got to whatever level I'm at now.
Yeah. No, I definitely think starting at like, well, around 20, it's a good age. Not to say if you're younger or older, you're not gonna, be fine. But around 20 feels like a pretty solid age to really dedicate yourself to any kind of craft or passion.
Yeah, definitely. So where do you see yourself going in art? Do you want to continue teaching and I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have their own little trajectory or their dream projects that they want to go on or something that they would want to do.
Well, I'm super satisfied with teaching, but I definitely want to do more project-based stuff because I feel like I haven't done any real project, like put out an art book or do some kind of it's just whatever, compile things, but more so than that, yeah, work on some kind of personal project, whatever it may be. I got plenty of ideas.
Yeah. I feel like as artists, you always have ideas of things that you want to do, and like for me, I have this ideas to make a video game at some point, but who knows at what point you'll be able to pursue that, and the logistics.
Yeah, I've told my friends, but for 2018, I've decided that's gonna be my theme for like 2018 in like YouTube and whatever. I'm gonna try to make a video about it, but I want 2018 to be like the year of the project. Like I want everyone to actually try to do whatever project, even if it winds up being horrible. Like just dive into some kind of project.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I got a question earlier. Somebody asked about when you're going to start your second political channel, because we just watched the newest video that you put out, and
oh no, I feel like I'm there's a slight toxicity around me. This is a bad time to do interviews.
No.
That video.
That was a great video. I watched the whole thing. I loved it. I
feel like a lot of people didn't understand the point of what I was doing at the end of the video.
Yeah.
Or like just when I started, because people are like, oh, you're being hypocritical. Like you say all this stuff. I'm like, that was the point. Like, because I can't just. I was like thinking about how to do a video where I kind of tell people. Obviously, if you just tell people, hey, don't take everyone so seriously, then it's hypocritical because you're the one saying it.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to take you seriously. So I'm like, okay, how about instead of that, I just kind of say a bunch of things and probably like 80% will disagree with at least something. And then I'm giving this example of like, oh, well, you gotta just you're just gonna have to let it go, and you're gonna have to just not take me seriously or not let it affect you. Of course, most people got super affected by it.
Yeah.
I had a lot of angry fans be like, how dare you disparage Bitcoin?
Yeah.
That was the thing that pissed people off the most.
Oh my god. That's really funny that was the thing that upset everybody. Oh man.
Yeah, you could say anything about any political movement or whatever, but Bitcoin is that's not where you
Do
want
not insult Bitcoin,
go to work.
because then you make people
Yeah.
feel stupid about investing their money.
Yeah, no, to be honest, like invest or like where you put your money, like that's a difficult, like that does feel like much more of an invest, I guess, emotional investment and
Yeah, yeah.
physical investment.
But that was really a great video, and it was like, again, it was a complete change of pace, but it was interesting to see you do something that was, I wouldn't say opinion based, but just more, it wasn't really based in art, and you were just kind of chatting, and I don't know, I really liked it.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I'm not gonna do more like that.
No, you're not? Okay.
For the person that asks, no, I'm not gonna do any more political videos.
Because there's a lot of content like that on YouTube, but I don't think it's as well thought out, and it's definitely something I appreciated.
Yeah.
Was there anything that inspired you to make that, or was it just a feeling of?
Well, there was a couple of reasons I wanted to make that. The first one stems back to kind of like years in the past, but it's always happened to me. It really is because of there's a part in the video where I mentioned Sycra
Mm-hmm.
and how everyone, this has always been a thing. People at conventions or people that run into me, they'll always come up to me and be like, they'll say something like, "Yeah, I really like your channel," and it's like, it's way better than Sycra, or like they seem to feed into this idea that we're like, dislike each other
Or in
or that there was
competition.
rival, and they want to like say something bad about him to somehow like endure themselves to me. I'm like, he's my friend. That's not how I feel.
That's so funny.
And it's always been this constant thing of like, if you like one YouTube person, then you make fun of the other YouTube people, like competing YouTube. And I'm like, that was the main catalyst that always brought about like the idea for doing some video, at least, about like tribalism and learning about art.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's really funny. Do you ever? I was under the impression that you guys were friends, because everything I've seen with you guys, you seem to be.
Oh yeah, we're super friends. I love that guy.
Yeah. So I don't know where people are getting the impression that you're you don't like
Well,
each other.
I'm kind of
dislike each other.
like, the more I'm friends with someone, the more I'm kind of a dick to them.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I think that's it.
Oh,
Like, I just
okay.
like to give them a hard time. But when people see that, they'll be like, "Oh, I want to be mean to him too because Sinix did it." So I'm just gonna go into his videos and just give him a hard time.
That's so funny. Yeah, you know what? Like,
it's not the same if he doesn't know who you are.
Yeah.
It's just weird and like aggressive.
you're just an anonymous person yelling at him and getting really angry for no reason.
Yeah, it's like I have let's see. Oh, there's like a friend of mine. It's like a Korean girl. It's funny. She came from Korea. But her way of just like introducing or just like saying hi, she always gets excited and she'll like punch you in the arm or something.
Yeah.
Just like, like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And she'll punch you. And it's like she punches pretty hard too, like not even like a gentle thing.
Yeah.
But I was just compared to that, like if someone sees that and they're like, that's how I interact with people, and you go up to a stranger and you just like punch them in the arm, that's what it feels like.
That's so funny.
It's just like you can't just punch a stranger and expect them to understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, yeah. That's hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
So I would say the video was mostly because of that, and also a little bit like I guess I mentioned like 4chan type stuff, but just in general, people tend to really get attached to like, oh no, like Loomis is the only way to draw, and Bridgman sucks, and it's just kind of like this very like, it needs to be one way and it can't be another way, and I just always dislike that approach. I just want people to be more open to, there doesn't have to be a right and wrong answer.
Exactly.
Let's just accept that everything's pretty gray, and like modern art is not necessarily a horrible thing, and like all these things, they have their purposes and they have their points. You don't have to really get attached to like, this is the only way to do art.
Yeah, I've always felt that if you do have strong opinions about something.
Oh my gosh, birds freaking out.
I was wondering what that was.
Okay.
I always felt like if you have strong opinions about something, which is not necessarily bad, I think it's best to just try to express it in a positive way. Like, if you don't like something about the way someone teaches, or you don't like something what someone does in their video, just make a video that doesn't do it in that way, or does some, does it differently, rather than leave 5 pages of angry comments, or
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, exactly.
you could just make a
'Cause-
a better video then.
Yeah, because I'm super opinionated on stuff. I have strong feelings on everything when it comes to art. I like to have strong opinions because that's I like to be an individual, and that's but I don't like hate the other people with different opinions, and I think that's the other important thing
Yeah,
is because I will watch videos that have completely different standpoints, and if it's a good person, a good artist, I will love the video. It'll just be like, oh, he did a great job of that. Like, I completely love how he talked about it. I'm not gonna do it personally,
yeah,
but I love the video, and like that was good.
that's a good attitude to take with it. Speaking of that sort of thing, what are artists that you are most inspired by, or follow, or have affected your work?
Well, it's constantly changed. So if you say like affected my work, then it goes back to more like all throughout history. People like I don't know. Yeah, it's really that's a tough question. But Kim Jong Il was like a more recent one. Like in probably the past few years or what, like a couple years ago and going forward. Before that, it's just all over the place. Ashley Wood had a big impact for like a couple years in the middle. Just really strongly influenced my love for kind of more minimalist, aggressive lines and things like that.
Cool.
Yeah, there's just been so many over the time. Right now, I would say my favorite artists are probably people like Teo Prinz and Tanzahui and still Sergei Kolosov and Peter Jablonski, like all these artists.
I'm hearing a
Those
lot
are
of
probably
names I don't know.
Oh, and Fight Punch. I like to throw on Fight Punch
Fight
too.
Punch?
Fight Punch is
Awesome.
Darren Bartley. Yeah, those are probably my top little 5 right now.
Awesome.
What about you? You got some favorite artists right now at the moment?
I like Kim Jong-gi, obviously. Kim Jong-gi is awesome. That's why I made the video about him. I really like Evan Amundsen a lot. Why I also made another video about him.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're just naming your video. You're just typing your video.
Just go watch those videos. Trust me. I'm not typing them for ad revenue or anything like that. Don't worry about that. I like Jaw Cooper a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I met her.
Oh yeah. My girlfriend's obsessed.
Oh
with
yeah,
her.
I got a Jaw Cooper story.
Oh yeah. All right, share.
What'd you say?
I said my girlfriend is obsessed with her work. We want to meet her someday.
Okay, so I didn't know who she was because I don't know. I just never ran across her work before, being more in the industrial side of artists. But I was out with Amanda Aldori, and he lives up in Pasadena. So we were out there, and we were at a coffee shop there, the Copa Vida. It's a popular coffee shop. A lot of people hang out there. But we were sitting there drinking, and then he was like, "Oh my God." And I'm like, what? He's like, the person who just sat next, like right behind you directly, like back to back. It's like, I know that person. That's Jaw Cooper. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. It's like, oh, they're really good artists. So I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll talk to them. Or like, I just was like, hey, what you doing over there? You drawing? Like kind of started talking to them. Just like, oh, are you an artist? Kind of like that kind of conversation.
That's kind of funny.
But no, she was so friendly and just super super engaging, and we just talked about art with her, and it was nice. She's like a very just friendly, happy, good person.
That's cool.
Let's see. She was, I don't know. She's an she stands out in a crowd. Personal observation. She has the most perfectly triangular nose you will ever see. Like, she looks like a fake human,
Okay.
in a good way. Like, she just looks like she was somehow 3D rendered because her nose and her ears are so minimalistically and perfectly shaped in these weird ways that I'm like, there is absolutely no crease, there's no curve to her nose, nothing. It's just like this perfect triangular, like 45-degree endpoint. And I'm like, that is strange.
That's so funny.
No, but she's quite a nice person.
Cool.
Her nose though, I just wanted to like, I was obsessing over her nose for like the rest of the day because I'm like, I've never seen this person's artwork, but they have the most amazing nose.
So you have
I've
a
ever
different
seen.
reason.
Like, I just want to draw their nose.
That's great. You should hang out with her and do some sketching. She's got some amazing work. I love her line work and everything. It's really really something.
I've started following. Yeah, like ever since then, I started following her, and I'm like, man, anytime we get to, like, I have to teach creature design type stuff. I'm like, I pull her up, and I'm like, these are examples of organic lines. Like, this is how you do organic line work.
Yeah.
Because she has like mastered this organic sense of line work.
It's incredible. It's really something.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing I can tell you about her process, because she was doing it, which was very like strange and unique to me. Like, I didn't understand, like, it would never be something I would do. But she was drawing the same drawing, like a finished drawing, and she would just draw it repeatedly. Like, she was like, oh yeah, I got this illustration, and she would take like tracing paper type stuff, and she was like, yeah, I have it here, but I want to try it again. And she would like basically like trace it, just focusing on just making the line work slightly more, maybe like curved in one part, or just slight iteration, like very, very, very minor iterations on the same drawing.
Wow.
And I was like, and that's how she produces her more, her finished stuff.
That's really cool,
like
though.
Just iterations on the same exact drawing. And to me, I was like, I don't even see a difference between the two. It's like a very slight, maybe emotional difference just in the like some aspect of the line quality.
Yeah.
Practically identical. And she's like, no, I think I'm gonna do one more. And I'm like, what is this art?
That's awesome. Now that's something I want to talk about too, is like capturing emotion and movement in your artwork, because that's something that I am absolutely horrendous at and really takes me a long time to do, and I need to focus more on that. How do you feel about, like, how does your emotional state, or how do you capture story and emotion in your drawings?
Well, when it comes to, I'm a huge believer in like just line confidence type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot stand taking a sketch and then doing a cleanup phase.
Yeah.
Personally,
I hate that too.
Because every time I've ever done that in the past, like, you take a nice sketch, and especially when you're starting out in art, like, and you're doing anime art and stuff, you go through this phase where it's like, okay, now I'm just gonna zoom in on every individual line and clean it up so it looks nice and clean and pretty. So lifeless and just dead once you do that, and you're like, that's weird. I don't like it as much. It doesn't look as appealing.
Yeah, it really just it kills it.
Is my internet dying? No, it's okay. Can you still hear me?
I hear you. I think they hear you.
Oh no, I think my internet is dying because you're like cut out.
Oh, hold on. Well, hold on. Let's see. Let me check my internet.
Okay, sure. Let's go with that. It could be you.
No, I don't think it's me.
Okay, I think it's okay again.
All right, cool.
And I forgot what I was saying.
You were talking about cleaning up.
Yeah, so like cleaning up line work, I just hated. I hate how it looks. I just hate how stale and like lifeless it all looks.
Yeah.
So I try to focus on. Obviously, that also plays into my idea of guidelines are bad. Like, when you have guidelines and you build everything out first, it just kind of looks a little more lifeless than if you just approach it with your instinctual sense of like, here's where the lines flow and here's where the angles are going to be, and that's coming at it like that.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Now, a lot of people or some people were asking in my Discord, because I do in my videos, I use a lot of guidelines and I kind of explain everything through guidelines. They were wondering if you ever, like when you were learning, you used guidelines to sort of establish proportions and figure out perspective, or did you just kind of tackle it directly until you built up an intuition?
Oh yeah, well, okay, that's a good question. Yeah, I've talked about it like in the past because it does. Every time I say, guidelines are bad, it does. I'm not referring to guidelines always being a bad thing. I just mean it's a goal. It should be a goal, in my opinion, to move away from guidelines, as you're trying to constantly improve. I completely think it's a great idea to use guidelines early on until you have kind of memorized and really established in your brain just the shapes of different things and the proportions of different things,
Yeah.
like where different facial features should be. I just feel like the goal is to get away from them. Like once once you really feel like you lock them in, then you want to start getting away from using them and let yourself be a little more free.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I say that, but no, I did not use guidelines when I was learning. I just learned the horrible trial and error way of just constantly just making bad drawings.
Well, that's not necessarily,
which was not the most productive.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily the worst approach to it though, because I think it does make your work more unique, and I think it does make your work a lot smoother. Like for me, for example, I think the biggest struggle I have is making everything fluid, and I think that does come a lot from doing everything in almost a industrial design type way.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell people that a lot. That's another whole big topic about the inability for people to switch back and forth between more emotional organic lines and industrial design lines. Because in my opinion, even if you're drawing like the same thing, for some reason, if you have a mindset or you're coming from drawing a bunch of organic stuff or industrial stuff, it just looks different anytime you draw stuff. There's a very subtle, imperceivable amount of like just quality to your lines that really comes across when you have a full drawing of whether you've been doing a lot of industrial or been doing a lot of organic stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's why on the streams I've been trying to do more, just do everything either with maybe like a really loose underdrawing or just kind of draw it directly, because you don't get the same effect. I don't think, oh, hold on, my chat died on this thing. It doesn't make it look as emotional, and you lose a lot of that movement.
Yeah. It's something that I feel like I constantly I'm like, I don't want to just be able to do one. So I keep trying to switch back and forth between industrial and organic stuff. But it doesn't, I feel it's hard to improve because you're just kind of constantly losing part of one to go back to the other, and that like, I'm hoping that they rise together, but it always seems like they're just hurting each other.
That's funny. Yeah, you said something on a couple of your videos that kind of resonates with me a little bit about how I think you've mentioned that you feel like you jump back and forth between a lot of different ideas a lot, or you'll be focused on something like animation and then you'll go on to design.
Yeah.
Do you feel that it's hard to choose what to focus on?
I think the main benefit for that is just that you don't get fatigued about, like, there's always you're always excited about like whatever you're moving around to, and that excitement is pretty useful. But yeah, why does that resonate with you?
Sorry, that was a kind of a lame way to phrase that. I just feel like I never know exactly what I want to do. One day I'll be like, all right, I want to do illustration, I want to do concept art, I want to do guitar, I want to do, just like, I kind of jump around from what I think my main priority is.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm the exact same way, for sure. Yeah, and I do throw guitar in there too. Like, I'll go through phases where I'll totally just be playing guitar, and I'll be super passionate about it for like usually like 6 months at a time.
Yeah.
and then I'll be like, okay, and then I'll lose my passion and I'll go away from it for like 2 years,
Yeah.
3 years, and I'll do the same thing, 3 years later, just get super into it.
Do you see that
And it's
as
just
a
yeah, it's
benefit?
like a rotating passion thing.
Do you see that
Yeah,
as something that's
wait for it to come around.
sorry? Do you
What's
see
that?
that? Do you see that as something that's a benefit to your character? Or do you find that something that's detrimental to your work?
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a bad thing in terms of like being I don't know what the way to put it is, but like being, I guess, like really getting strong at one thing, or being, obviously just becoming a master at something. Like becoming a master at something is really good for having careers and financial stability. Like if you just focus on a comfort zone, it's going to be a lot better for you, I guess, career wise. In like, but I'm not sure if it's as fulfilling like creatively. So I do, but I don't think it's necessarily best like financially or
Okay,
anything like that.
that's a good point. Because yeah, I mean, I think as you mentioned earlier, with a lot of the concept artists, is they do start to feel that creative fatigue, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that prevents it. Moving around, doing, trying to do different things.
Yeah.
Someone
And
said,
going back to that, I feel like there's almost no artist in the world. They're both
"I'm sorry,
dust
your internet's cutting out. I'm sorry."
strong. Oh, what's that?
I think your answers are cutting out. Sorry, because the internet was cutting out a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think our internet's acting. I don't know if it's you or me. One of our internets is acting a little weird.
Well, I know I've been having so many internet issues, so it's could definitely be me.
Oh, okay.
Somebody asked, "Have you ever thought of doing commercial and gallery works?" I haven't gone through any of these questions here.
Um, I don't. I don't want to do gallery stuff. I mean, unless I get like I always think about gallery stuff is I'll do that when I'm like 60 years old.
Yeah. It just seems like a very foreign world to me. I don't know.
I completely wanted like when I'm an old man, just going out painting boring beachside landscapes and stuff, and doing plein air.
There you
Like
go.
I would love to have that be like the little bookend to my career.
That's cool.
That'd be fun. And but just posting it in some like beachside gallery type thing.
All right. Now, the most important thing we need to know is tell us about your birds, because I hear them.
They're horrible. They won't be quiet. And especially anytime I come in here and have to do an interview or just talk to someone,
Yeah.
they think I'm trying to talk to them, so they just get super annoying and loud.
Are you not giving them enough attention? You're not giving them enough love?
Maybe. I don't know. They demand a lot.
They're like Sinix,
Oh
please.
no, he sees me. I put a giant blanket over the cage, which doesn't stop him because it just makes him know that something's going on. There's two birds, but the little one's fine. I got a little parrot. He's completely chill. But the one, this cockatiel, he's like wild. So there's a blanket on the cage going almost all the way down to the bottom, and he just climbed all the way down to the bottom of the cage and is like looking out from the bottom at me, like he knows something's up. Like he's just like spying, just being, yeah. He needs attention.
Any other pets?
Not personally at the moment.
I'll have to introduce you. You asked on stream.
I'm not. First of all, I'm not like some crazy bird person. These are rescue pets, which sounds silly, but the cockatiel, I just had an ex-girlfriend who like bought it. First of all, this cockatiel is very dumb and he's very annoying. But I think he's got some kind of mental disability or just some physical disability because she got him at PetSmart. I was there when she got him, and he was just a mess. And they had marked him down. Like you don't normally see birds or animals in general on clearance,
Yeah.
but he was on clearance. It was like regularly 60, like I forget, maybe $80 or something. And they're like, this one's on sale. He's $20. And like that should have been your first warning. Like, okay, there's something wrong with this one. And he was just like a mess.
Yeah, that's a bad sign when you have a bird that's on clearance, or any animal that's on
Yeah,
clearance for that matter.
don't buy animals from the clearance aisle.
No. Is that why you guys broke up?
No, we broke up for random stuff. But after she got him, she's like, I think this bird is really dumb, and I'm just gonna let him go outside. I'm like, he's dumb. You can't just throw him outside. He's just gonna die. I'm like,
he's not gonna survive.
And she's like,
that.
I don't want him. And I'm like, fine, I'll take like. And she was like, they're not gonna take him back. They're like, no returns. We don't want that stupid clearance.
You bought him on
I'm
discount.
like, fine, I'll take him. So I just took him, and he's been, I don't know, he's been amusing, but like, just a weird bird.
That's funny. I had this cat that I'm pretty sure was schizophrenic. I didn't get him on sale, but I did get him. He followed me home, and he was so loving, and he was super nice. And but then he would get these spurts where he'd come up to you and kind of lure you into being friendly with him, and then you let him sit on your lap and you'd pet him and he'd rub his face against you, and then all of a sudden he would just claw your face and just stick his claws deep into your cheeks, and it was just very painful. I don't know if it was a loving thing or just a vicious thing or a schizophrenic thing. Who knows?
Yeah, I grew up with a pet cat. And I love cats. I'm a cat person, kind of. But yeah, cats are interesting. I mean, I always remember being like a kid, and anytime there was like something outside, like another animal. Obviously, they go into hunter mode, like super aggressive cat mode.
Yeah.
And anytime I would be like, "Oh, what you looking at?" Or I would like make the mistake of walking up near him. Obviously, they freak out and they just start attacking you like crazy because they're in that mode. And they just like latch onto your leg and start like clawing away. And oh man, cats are a good time.
They are. I was gonna introduce you to Babu.
I don't feel like dogs would ever like mistakenly just start randomly attacking you just because there's another dog around.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
But cats will just like attack, like, and then they'll like realize maybe like 10 minutes later that wait a minute. That's not the same thing. After they've been just wildly attacking you.
Yeah, the dogs are a little more reliable in that regard.
Yeah.
I was gonna introduce you to my Babu, but because I know you were asking on the stream what a Babu was.
Yeah, that's right, the Babu.
He's becoming a little bit of a meme because he's just this cat that he just wants to be held all the time, and so while I'm streaming he'll come up and just sit on my lap or just kind of get in the way, turn things off, and I don't know, he's just the best. But he's big and kind of chunky, and he's like the size of a baby panther.
That's awesome.
So he's become a little bit of a channel meme.
That's good. Yeah, I think I saw it at the end of the other stream I watched.
Oh yeah, he showed up. I'm starting to design some t-shirts with him on them too.
Nice.
I don't know if that's weird to do. I see a lot of these YouTubers with merchandise, and I was like, let me get in on that. Let me try that.
Yeah, go for it. It's fun.
Yeah. Are you familiar with any of this?
I haven't done it yet, but I'll mess around with it sometime. We'll do something. I'll do something.
Make some Sinix t-shirts.
I will try to make some t-shirt this year for fun.
Yeah. Are you familiar with any of this like YouTube culture or any of? I mean, you've been on it for so long.
Yes, I would say I'm familiar with every aspect of the internet. I've been on the internet since like '93. Just like early AOL 2.0, like just the worst internet day. Just I know every like kind of iteration of like this internet cultural nonsense.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Right now we have the whole vlogger scene happening.
Yeah.
Here on YouTube, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, YouTube's gotten YouTube constantly changes like what's popular. Like right, like it used to just be like I don't know. There was that time where it's like everyone just wants to make a video game channel and play video games.
Yep.
That's could die out. Especially with Twitch around, they all just kind of went there. But yeah, YouTube right now, I guess it's mostly just Vine stars and Storytime channels.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of the good thing.
Man.
I am old. I mentioned I'm old. I'm very old.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You've only been on the
Back
internet
in
since
my
'93.
day, man, can you? I feel like people will never even believe how like crappy, or like the standards we used to have to deal with on the internet back in like the mid '90s.
Oh
Because
yeah.
internet, you used to have to pay hourly, like AOL plans. Like they didn't even have unlimited plans at first, so you would have to pay like hourly to use the internet.
I
And it
forgot
was
about that.
expensive. It was like I don't know, it like like a few dollars an hour at least, and it like consider that like to things these days, and it's just, like the idea of not having your internet on all the time or not being able to use stuff and having to pay like just hourly rates and deal with that.
Things were so different back then. You had to sit and wait about 10 hours to play EverQuest or whatever the hell you were playing. I used to try to play
Oh man.
I used to try to play Warcraft 3, that was my game back in the day. And I had this terrible
Yeah.
computer, and I would just sit there for hours, frame by frame, and I was fucking patient too. I'd just sit there and wait for each frame. I'd play these multiplayer matches. It would take about 10 hours to start up a round. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh man. The early internet was I remember the first time I ever saw like like it was probably like 140p like a streaming video on the internet. I was like it was on a website. I was like, what is it just blew my mind. I'm like, there's no way that you could do this through the internet. Like the internet isn't strong enough to have a video playing.
Yeah, man, it was ridiculous.
I like had to gather around the whole family and be like, look at this. This is a video playing across the internet.
Did you have a
It's
MySpace?
amazing. Oh yeah, I had a great MySpace.
I miss MySpace.
It had oh man, I wish I could remember what song played. Remember how MySpace everyone had a song
Yeah.
like their own. You could just go to every MySpace page and it would play like a different, whatever cool song that person was into.
and
Like,
you would
this song really sums me up.
and you would think that song was so cool. You're like, this song is fucking awesome. People are gonna listen to it, and they're gonna be like, wow, that guy is cool. He knows his music.
Yeah, and I feel like every single time you ever went to anyone's page, you'd just be like, "Oh, where can I mute this? How do I mute this?"
And then some people would block that so you couldn't mute the song, and then you'd have to listen to their shitty song, whatever the fuck it was, whatever they were listening to.
Oh man, we gotta bring that back. Come
Yeah.
on, Facebook, get on the ball. We
Yeah.
gotta bring on personalized soundtrack to every page.
Facebook is disappointing to me. It's sad. It's just a ball of family members arguing about politics and
Yeah,
Donald Trump.
I don't think because MySpace was like popular, but it didn't transcend into like your parents really getting on MySpace.
No, I hope not.
Made that transition into like now everyone gets to be on.
I think that's where Facebook won out, because like MySpace was just a bunch of scene kids and people doing duck face and mirror pics and all that good stuff, and nobody's parents want to do that. But then they got on Facebook and they're like, oh, we can talk about I don't know, politics. Or everybody decided to talk about politics now.
Yeah, MySpace really dropped the ball there. It's, like on a lot of things. Like I feel like man, we were very close to just MySpace being what Facebook is today.
Yeah, it was huge.
But they like because like early like Facebook existed, but it was you had to be in college to actually use it at the time when MySpace was around. And so I couldn't even I didn't go to college, so I wasn't even I wasn't I wasn't physically allowed to have Facebook because you'd have to get like college permissions to use Facebook. Yeah, Facebook was super exclusive early on. Well, not super exclusive, but it was exclusive just to college kids.
Yeah.
Which was weird. And then they made it open to everyone, and somehow that won out.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, when I first started it, I remember I made a Facebook, and the only thing we were doing was just like there was this little graffiti app, and you would like doodle on people's pages, and that was about it. You would doodle and nothing else. And I was like, why are people leaving MySpace for this? They got that song thing on there. It's great.
Maybe it was the exclusivity, like, because the early days it was like, oh, Facebook's the exclusive one. You need to have like special permission just to join it. It wasn't open to everyone. So maybe it's like that old trick where you just
Yeah.
like you bar off the door and say no one's allowed in here.
Yeah.
And then like at a bar or something.
Yep.
And then everyone's just like, well, I want to go in there. And then they just like, okay, fine, we'll let people in. And like, there's nothing actually going on inside.
That reminds me of
but
this.
Everyone just wants to be in.
This news story I heard the other day about this. There was this restaurant. It wasn't even really a restaurant. It was a guy who got the certification to become a restaurant and made this really exclusive. Basically, he was taking reservations, and he managed to receive 5 stars on Yelp because he kept denying people entry into this non-existent restaurant, and he just had a landline for his phone, and that was it. And it like caused this gigantic sensation. People were paying him money. It's insane. So yeah,
it's a real thing. I feel like Facebook took advantage of that phenomenon.
Yep, definitely. How do you feel like Facebook is? Do you feel like it's affecting the way we interact as people? Because I feel that way.
Yes, a little bit. What's I guess more also important for us is like that to social media from where things used to be before the really social media boomed, because we're never going to see a conceptart.org type place again, or like any of those golden heydays of communities like really being focused and really being together because of social. I feel like as soon as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram and everything came out, like there's no like just no one uses that kind of format, especially not professionals. Like they're not going to be hanging out on a forum with a bunch of people. And so I feel like that golden little era of art community is kind of gone from the internet.
Yeah, that kind
Discord is kind of an interesting thing because I feel like Discord is kind of bringing it back, but in a small confined way.
Yeah, because it's everyone specific to their channel, like one specific channel, or I don't know how many people are up from my Discord or on yours, or it's a little bit different that way.
Yeah, but it is good because there is that little community. Like they build their own little communities, they got their own memes, and they got just their own little and everything, and that's good. But it's not gonna be. It can't be as big as like thousands of people like it was on concept art.
Yeah, I kind of caught the butt end of that with conceptart.org. I would look at it and admire a lot of the artwork, but I wasn't really drawing at that point. So can you talk about how it was or how that community was a bit?
Well, I didn't see it. Like I came into it without like knowing the art, that art scene, but I was like, I see good artists on here, so I'm gonna become a part of it. But basically, at the time, it was just like every single good artist. I feel like every good artist in the world was on conceptart.org for like at least there was like a couple years of time, where you just go on there and the people posting like their own sketches and everything. It'd be like here's Craig Mullins and Justice Wheaton and John Foster and Feng Zhu's on there, and just basically every artist and like all the artists that are really popular today, like they were all just kind of starting out and on there, and Sparth's on there, and just everyone's on there, and they're talking about their craft and they're sharing their progressions of things, and they're critiquing each other, which is the most amazing thing, by the way. When you're starting out, it's not people critiquing you, it's seeing like professionals critique other professionals.
Yeah,
that like really gives you like the stuff where you're like, oh whoa, I'm learning way too much. Like I never even thought of like half these concepts.
That's so sick.
So I feel like that was the best part. It was watching the professionals interact with each other. That was probably the most valuable aspect of it. As someone who was just a newbie, I would just like watch the threads they would make and just listening to the things they would talk to with each other, where I think I learned way more than anything else.
Yeah, I could see that being extremely helpful.
Only that little community of also beginner people on the sketchbook side of the forums, and just like following, everyone was so dedicated that you would just see like an update every day from your friends, and you would update every day because you didn't want to be the one that's not updating, just like grinding away.
That's so cool. That's really awesome. Do you agree with Fang Zhu that you should, if you want to get something done, that you shouldn't eat food until you finish it?
Oh man, I don't want to cause drama on your channel by bringing up anything about Feng Zhu.
No, I'm kidding. I bring him up a lot just as a joke. I think he's absolutely amazing.
He's amazing, but man, there's a lot of drama and just stigma that you can get into when you start talking about him, like anything about him.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize this. See, I here in New York, like I said, there's nothing really going on. I'm just some sort of like amorphous anonymous figure here on YouTube, just hanging out in my my apartment. So like I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what the interpersonal relationships are. I just think it's funny that he said not to eat. And
oh yeah, no, he said a lot. He's an interesting person.
All right, well I won't.
For the record, I definitely really appreciated all the early, like he was one of the first people to really do like video recordings of digital paintings, and with the Gnomon DVDs. I think he was the first Gnomon DVD person. So like he's actually the reason I first made a YouTube video, was because of Feng Zhu, because I saw someone else do videos of themselves painting and talking about it, and that was the like, whoa, this is great. I love watching people paint and talk about it, digital paint.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna try that. But yeah, he's gotten really strange just over the years, and obviously there's been a lot of stuff that came out about just shady business practices and people getting screwed over. And I think now he's basically retreated to being just working for China, where like he basically follows money, which it's fine. He's definitely more business focused than he is necessarily focused on like maybe a passion for cool art like a lot of us are.
Okay.
He's definitely more like, how can I make the most money from all this stuff, which is it's fine. It's just a different kind of
motivation,
enjoyment, I guess.
That's funny. I honestly had no idea about any of this that, so I didn't mean to put you in an uncomfortable position. So
no, it's not uncomfortable for me. I didn't want to I just don't want to say stuff that's people are gonna be upset.
Nah, I think they'll be fine. No, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, no, because I find it all very amusing. To me, it's just like all jokes and comedy, like following along with any drama that goes on in the art world. Like I just think it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's why. I'm sorry, go on.
My favorite thing about things too is just when I first saw the Gnomon DVDs. I like to mention this a lot to people, but he looked like a middle, like just a nerdy, like 30-year-old, maybe like 35-year-old, just Asian guy. I don't know how old he was. He just looked like just this very dorky, like engineer looking guy with like glasses and like just nerdy guy. And every single year that's gone by, he's dressed like a younger and younger person, and he's tried to act cooler and cooler. So you see him today and he dresses like an 18-year-old like emo angsty kid. He's got like all the arm bangles, like all these bracelets, and just like wearing like all this crazy stuff with like the tight t-shirts, and he surrounds himself with like younger and younger like secretaries and females, and it's just like, oh man. Like I look at it, I'm like, oh, this is so like cringy. Like this is just like,
that's funny.
I don't know, it's just funny to me.
Well, he's never going to work with either of us.
Thing going on where the older he gets, the younger he dresses.
Yeah, that's funny. And now he will never speak to either of us.
Oh yeah, I don't think he would anyway. He's not really into that.
No, but I do want to say that like his videos were kind of why I wanted to start making videos in the first place. But I do think it's funny because a lot of
definitely
a lot of the kids on here they get stressed out by some of the things that he says, like the not eating thing. I didn't make that up. That's
Yeah.
actually something you said, and I was like,
Yeah, no, that's definitely the type of thing you would do.
yeah. So maybe you could talk about like your work ethic, or like how many hours you put in, because I feel like I get that question all the time. How many hours a day do you sketch, or how was it when you first, were coming up in the art world? You don't have to put like an exact number. I'm just saying like.
So because I think everyone gets that kind of question, like what's the best thing, like how much should I do, how hard should I work? But it's like definitely during the concept art days, that was like my most productive, just peak time.
Yeah.
Where I would wake up, I would literally roll out of bed, maybe eat some crappy snack, but the first thing I would do was like, okay, what did I miss during the night on concept art? Let me see like what people posted. And I was living basically a constant life of just obsession, passion for art, where it would just be my whole morning to night. Obviously I was being a spoiled kid, just living with my family and, being a bum. So that's a luxury that most people don't have. But so I didn't have a job at the time, so I would just like roll out of bed, come over, being like some 20-year-old kid not going to college, and I would just look at concept art. I would write a bunch of comments being like, oh, that's really cool, save a bunch of stuff to my computer, and then I would just start drawing and basically be like, what am I going to work on today? I don't know, I'm just going to draw a bunch. I'm going to try painting was like new to me at the time, so I'm like, I'm going to experiment with everything. And I would just basically do art stuff like all day. And if I wasn't, I wouldn't draw all day, but I would draw a good like 6, 7, 8 hours. And then I would spend the rest of that time either looking at art or talking to art, because we would also do a lot of little hangout type things where the other artists would be like, hey, do you want to do an open canvas, draw together? I'd be like, yeah, we do like one of those every day or two. And just like really just obsessing. It was just an obsession.
Yeah.
So I would say that was like super productive time. Everyone likes to point out, or I guess because I vaguely mentioned it once about getting really good or going to a professional level in 6 months. People like to quote that. But it was during that time where I really went from being just like a beginner to being someone that was getting job offers in like 6 months of time of just being super obsessed. So obviously not everyone can do that, but when you ask yourself like how much should I draw each day, or how much should, it's not like you shouldn't feel like you're forcing yourself. Like you just need to find that passion.
Yeah.
So even if you're not drawing, just be looking at art, and because then at least you'll be getting that stronger obsession going, or just be obsessing over things, be constantly looking at different artists, and just kind of absorbing art is like just as valuable as drawing, in my opinion. I always think that looking at stuff, building the visual library, obsessing over things and analyzing things in your head is just as valuable as the actual drawing part.
Yeah, and I think you really do have to be obsessed, and you have to want it. I do also think in the early phases you have to probably spend the most time. I think it's going to be the most challenging, because you're going to hit the most I feel like you hit the most roadblocks early on.
Yeah,
at least in my experience. I felt like early on was
I derailed your your YouTube chat. Now they're talking about am I jealous of things you
you have to ignore them sometimes, but
like I feel like don't like get confused. Like I admire what he does. Like he has a very set path.
I don't know,
like,
you sound pretty jealous if you ask me.
I learned a lot from things, and I find him amusing more than anything at this point.
I think you're just
a source of enjoyment for me still.
Yeah, I think you're just being a hater, but that could just be me.
I am. He's making all my Chinese money.
Damn it.
He's got all the girls. He's surrounded by pretty girls. I want to go live his life.
Damn it.
He's living the art dream. He's managed to get to a point where he can just absorb a bunch of money and then just get what we all want out of art, which is be surrounded like a harem of young Asian women. That's the goal.
Yeah, I feel like for me, most of my motivations in life are jealousy. And so I look at Fang Zhu and as you put, his harem of young females, and I get very jealous, and so that's kind of what I'm striving to do. Not really.
Yeah, I think that's everyone's goal.
Oh man.
This.
Now I'm debating whether or not I can upload this, but you know what? I'll edit that. I'll edit all the Fang Zhu out.
No, come on, it's fine. No one cares about that.
Well, I don't know. I'm not in this art community. I don't know what you guys do. I know what you do out in California. Okay.
Like I said, he's locked himself in jail now. He won't watch anything.
All right, good. Yeah, that's too funny. What is the chat saying, by the way? I haven't been checking them out.
We joke around, but it's not a hateful joking. It's like I'm just giving it a hard time.
Yeah.
For fun.
Is the chat saying anything interesting, or are they just going on about Fang Zhu and how long you draw every day?
No, it's mostly the normal stuff. Nah, they're still just talking about that.
Because we can have a caller.
I did see someone ask if I could fly a plane, and yes, I can fly a plane.
Oh, go on about that. Because let's talk about that. How do you fly a plane, or how did you get into flying planes? I went through a giant I don't know what I want to do in life phase before I came to art. Like when I was 19 years old, 18 years old, 18, 19. Because right after high school, I was like, I do not want to go to college because I don't know what I want to do in life. And of course, my parents were very grumpy about that. Yeah.
But I was just being super stubborn. I'm a very stubborn person in general. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it can be a good thing in the art, like in the art sense. That I will keep sticking with something, as long as I can, just be obsessive. But anyway, so after high school, I was like, I don't know what I want to do, and my dad was always he flew sometime occasionally as a hobby. Yeah, he seems to enjoy it, so I'll be like, hey, I was thinking maybe I'll become a pilot. So I went to flight school, whatever you call it. I had an instructor, all that stuff. I did my first solo flight, which is a terrifying thing I think I've ever done in my whole life.
Yeah,
I would say, having to get in a plane with no one else, just on your own, and take off and go fly around in the sky and then land it. There was a sense of pressure in doing that for the first time that I don't think it's been matched by anything else I've done in my life. Where I was just like, if I sneeze or something, I could kill myself. It was this pressure of I am so responsible for my own life at this moment that it's kind of weird.
Yeah, seriously.
It was a good time, but as I got close to the actual more important side of what am I gonna do with it, and it started all the training stuff and everything. It started to focus more on just doing a really intensive kind of maneuver, I don't know how to describe it, but just maneuver type stuff, or just all the more controlled, super serious parts of it. I started to get motion sick all the time, and I'm like, oh, I could stick with this, but I'm get sick every time I go up there, so I'm just gonna give up on it. I don't think it's for me.
Yeah.
And, I just decided that it probably wasn't the career path for me. But it was a good time, and it was a good experience.
Yeah, you probably feel in hindsight that you made the right call not going to college, though, since you probably saved yourself about a couple $100,000 in debt.
Yeah, that is true. A lot of my friends are working their way through debt. I'm fine with everything. I'm someone that never feels I make peace with every decision I make, because that's the only way to live your life.
Yeah, that's a good way to be.
So, yeah, I never feel any regret about it, any of that. I'm like, oh, that's fun. I never went to college. That's cool. Yeah. It's just part of who I am.
Well, I think it's good because I don't want to advocate not going to college, because I know there's a lot of people that do want to pursue it. But as somebody that spent a lot of years in it, and is now not using any of it really, I have a lot of friends that went to school and are just riddled with debt, and they really can't do anything. And it's kind of a horrible existence. They have to work, you know, sometimes menial jobs that they don't really give them the pay that they deserve based on their qualifications. And so it can be really crippling for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think whether you go or don't go, I mean, the important thing is it's still just gonna be to just accept. Don't live in a world of regret. If you went, that's fine. No matter what you choose to do, it's gonna make you who you are, and you'll be fine.
yeah, man.
You'll deal with whatever hardship either direction takes you in.
So what music do you listen to? Because you said you played guitar, and they've been asking me about it.
Oh man, I've gone through almost every phase in my life. You know, I went through like a hardcore metal phase when I was younger.
Cool.
When I was first like really into guitar stuff, when I was maybe like 18, 19, you know, like that age. Then I went through all kinds of other phases. Right now, I currently just listen to more like, I don't know, maybe like simple hipsterist like just hipster nonsense kind of. A lot of like more folksy guitar or like synth poppy stuff, and just I don't know, everything.
I'm still stuck in that metal phase.
Yeah, dude, it's
Yeah.
fine. I can feel. I went like I not only did I go through a metal phase, I feel like I went through a phase for every genre of metal too.
Oh yeah,
Like,
there's so many subgenres.
More death metal phase. I had my more melodic phase. I had my just, you know, thrash speed metal phase. Just everything.
Cool. Yeah. I used to be, before I did this whole thing, I was in this in a death metal band. I guess you would call them death metal.
It was a death metal band?
Yeah.
You said you were in a band. I didn't know it was a death
Yeah,
metal
yeah.
band.
It was. I don't know if you've heard of Painted in Exile by any chance. It's fine if you haven't.
Probably.
We signed to Metal Blade for a really brief period of time.
Yeah, nice.
And so we did that for a bit, and then I ended up quitting to go to school, and then I quit school to go to YouTube. So I did like a complete 360, but yeah, you know, it was so much fun. I kind of wanted to write some more music at some point, because it's like playing a live show is unmatched. I do feel like the live streams are somewhat akin to it. Like there's that nervous pressure of having to perform to an extent, but nothing beats that energy of like having people right in front of you and moshing and breaking.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, even well, I've never been in a situation that can compete with that.
It's
I mean,
a lot
I've
of
done
fun.
like some live workshop demo stuff, but and there is like definitely more of a vibe where you're feeding off the crowd a little bit, but it's not going to be anything like playing music for a big crowd or anything.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's more stressful for, like, I think the one thing that when you're playing live music that's a bit of a crutch is that the people are there to see you anyway, so they're going to enjoy it regardless of how poorly you do, unless you do so poorly that it's like, you know, horrendous and you can't even hear it. But usually they're pretty forgiving if you mess up. But I feel like a live workshop or something, you kind of have to be on your game. How do you feel about that?
I don't know the music, bro. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Well, I haven't done any live workshops, so I don't know how that goes.
Well, okay, there is a pressure to feel like you need to be on your game, but usually, you can ride that off on just crowd interaction, and people will just have a good time no matter what, you know?
Okay.
Like if you're just really focused on what you're doing and then you're struggling, then yeah, that can be a pretty like, you know, horrible time for everyone. But as long as you're, you know, like, oh man, like you're just like joking about it, you know, and you don't take it too seriously, then things great and everyone's having a good time. So
that's cool. That's a good attitude to take towards it. I feel like I would get into that situation and then like I feel like sometimes when I do anything live, like these live streams or whatnot, I'm kind of like a train. where like if I'm on the tracks, it's moving very well and everything's just going. But then the moment like some sort of weird perturbation or some sort of like issue arises, I'm just like I just derail and completely louse up the whole thing. I don't know that's just my own idiosyncrasies with doing live performance and live streams and such.
Yeah, that's cool.
Do you think that
man, it's fun.
Yeah, do you
I'm
think
glad I know you were in a metal band now.
Well, maybe when I come out to California, we'll see some metal shows or something. I don't know who's playing anymore. But...
Oh, we're gonna put on a metal show.
Okay.
What you're talking about? See a show.
All right. Somebody said. Somebody
we're gonna go to Art Center and we're gonna set up some amps.
There we go.
Put on a show right in the parking lot.
Somebody said in my Discord, they're like, ask him if he wants to be in your band. Well, they phrased it in not as nice of a way, actually. They said,
well, yes, I think we should make a band.
All right, there we go. You heard it here, guys. Me and Sinix are starting the first YouTube artist death metal band.
For the record, I feel like I'm much more at this age and time. I'm much more of a rhythm guitar player, so I hope you got some lead guitar in you.
I think I'm way better at guitar than art, so I'm ready. I'm ready to take the challenge.
Okay, great.
I'll do the lead guitar.
I'm pretty good at tempo and rhythm and all that stuff, so I'm good in rhythm.
Awesome. Let's see. Would you want to take some calls from people?
Calls?
Yeah, I have people call in like it's a radio show.
You got here.
It's a lot of fun. I do the
yes, I'm down for anything.
All right, now here's the trick though. I make them pay money to do that, so they have to be a subscriber and then they do the live call in. Also here, I got questions in my Discord. They say, whoa, this guy asked 7 questions. What are your favorite games?
Oh, of all time?
Yeah, I guess of all time. They didn't say of any specific time period.
Just throwing out these like giant essay questions that I could pontificate on for hours.
We'll do that while I get coffee.
Let's just say like I don't know, like the old 2D like Zelda Link to the Past and Jet Set Radio. There's a bunch of games. I was really into Phantasy Star Online when I was younger. I don't know. Who cares? It's fine. Let's just games pretty strongly, and I've been through a phase where pretty much every game. So
RTS games are where it's at, just for the record.
Yeah, did you ever play like Homeworlds? Because as far as like art goes, like that's my favorite concept art.
No, I haven't played that game. Homeworld, it's called?
Oh man. Just from like it is an RTS game for like hardcore strategy. Like it's super in-depth, nerdy RTS style game.
Awesome.
But because it's all in space, so you got the extra dimensions going on and everything.
Sick.
But the art style of it was just, it really was a big inspiration early on.
Yeah, I want to check that out. Because StarCraft was my game of choice for a really long time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I used to play that way too much. Let's see what else we got here. What would you advise people who are stuck to your own drawing style? Do they mean, I don't know if they mean if they're stuck copying you specifically or if they're stuck to like drawing in their own style.
I think they mean their own style. I don't know, the styles usually evolve. I feel like styles can evolve the quickest just by doing a lot of studies of different artists. I feel like you will you retain some kind of just design sense and shape language, so it kind of can affect you if you just do a bunch of studies of like, I want my art to go in this, a bunch of studies of artists in a certain direction.
Yeah, I think
that helps a lot.
I saw that with your you did the 10 days of self-portraits and you did it in different styles.
Yeah,
that was really cool. And
I had a lot of fun with that Tanzhui one. That was like, I felt so free and liberated. I'm like, I wish I could. I'm not gonna switch my style to be Tanzhui, but I was like, I just want, it's so much fun. Like, I would love to just do his style and copy him and just do that forever.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind. Go for it. He won't mind. Don't worry. But yeah, I think that's a good point. Like your style can just evolve naturally, or you can do study, like you can make very conscious decisions about it, and just look at other artists that you enjoy and try to emulate their work a bit.
Just Mibbler, I gotta respond. He asked in the YouTube chat, "Why do I not like Joe Mad?"
Oh, why don't you like
this
Joe
is
Mad?
a source of much contempt from a lot of people, because I usually say I don't like Joe Mad. It's I don't know. It's just like there's a lot of aspects to it that I don't enjoy. But to me, it's just like when you take your art from how you used to draw, like when you were 16, and instead of like evolving your style, you just refine it as hard as you can for like the next 20 years, and then you get Joe Mad. Like that's how I feel when I look at it. But it's, if people enjoy it, there's no problem with that. I just the style of it just doesn't appeal to me. It never really has. And there's also like this, I don't know, there's like a weird density to it that I don't find appealing. There's like a certain density and the detail and everything about it, where I like things that are much more kind of abstract, or just a little bit looser and kind of just cloudy about themselves. It feels so like sharp. I don't know. It feels
is
so
very
like
sharp,
defined, that I don't like that sense when I look at art.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the answer they were looking for was if you don't like Joe Mad, that you hate them and that they're wrong.
Yes. No, I hate them.
No, yeah.
Why don't I like Joe Mad? Because I'm a good artist.
That's the answer they're looking for. No, I do agree. Like, I personally like his work, but I can see why, like, if that's not something you're interested in, or like you said, everything is very sharp. Everything, there is a density of detail, and if that's just something that doesn't appeal to you, it doesn't appeal to you.
Yeah. Don't worry about what I dislike. I just like sharing my opinions on everything. You should always have an opinion on stuff. Have a point of view.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Once again, it goes back to my tribalism video. You don't have to agree with me. You just think you don't have to be like upset about it that someone doesn't share your point. Just don't worry about it. It's fine.
I think he just unsubscribed to your channel.
Don't get emotionally invested in like how I care about something. Because once again, it's like if I say something's like I don't like that, and then you like it, you feel this like, well, am I like that? I feel like there's this internal like struggle of, like just in your brain, like, well, I don't want to be wrong. I'm not wrong, but it's not a matter of right or wrong. It's just, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It just doesn't matter. It's just gray. It's just a gray area, like all art, like everything.
Do you get a lot of that on your YouTube comment section, and do you check the YouTube comment section at all?
Oh, I love to check my YouTube comment section. I don't get a lot of necessarily that, unless, because most of my videos don't mention anything about just anything that's, controversial, I would say. Occasionally, but most of the time it's, just whatever.
Yeah, that's funny. I have this thing where, I don't know why, I sometimes will respond to them, and I really just shouldn't. And then I have to stop myself. I'm just like, all right, I don't know. This person's just arguing for the sake of arguing. Like, it's good to keep that, don't respond to too much stuff. I feel like it's just a better strategy in general if you're gonna be a YouTube person. Yeah, no, I think that's a healthy mindset to go about it. But you do get your fair share of it. Let's see. How do you deal with pieces that you really, really want to make happen, but no matter how many insane working hours you put into it, it just comes out bad?
See, that doesn't happen. I feel like this doesn't happen anymore in my life. I don't know. I don't remember basically the last time I felt that emotion. And it's not that like, oh, every time I want to make something comes out. I feel like it's more so just I don't get that attached to that idea. Like if I'm so willing to let everything go that I'm just like, oh, if I start it and I'm like, it's not working out, and I'm just like, oh, whatever, I don't care, and then I just move on to something else. Like, I don't get that attached to, like, I need to have this one idea come from my head and get on paper and look good. I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'm not attached to any one ideas anymore. So I don't know. I just don't find myself caring. Like,
Yeah.
but I definitely remember when I was starting as an artist, I would get that feeling a lot, where it was like, oh, I want to do this one thing and I can't get it. I can't just get it on paper. It's, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
But I'm very just, I don't know. I don't get attached to it.
Yeah, you can't be married to any of your ideas. You have to just sort of let them go if they're not working, or say, for example, you want to ask Sinix a question, and then I say I don't want to answer that question. You can't be married to that question. It was actually funny. Ironically, somebody quoted. They were like, what did they say? They said Sinix talks about the law of unattachment or something, and he quoted that at me when I said I didn't want to answer his question or something, or ask his question, which was really funny.
Yeah, I do like try to keep that kind of non-attachment. I always think that's an important part of art, and like, it's probably easier for me because I came from that background of not doing guidelines, so just I'd constantly just be making bad drawings, and you just gotta go, oh well, that one sucked, I'll just go to the next. Drawing, but without getting attached to your mistakes or anything.
Yeah, so how long did you now you said you mentioned there was that 6-month period when you were doing conceptart.org all the time. How long before that were you drawing, and were you doing it kind of in the same method where you would just kind of go on instinct and just doing it through trial and error?
See, I feel like before the conceptart.org days, it was, the bulk of it was just like horrible, like, I don't know, Invader Zim fan art and like anime kind of copies, and so like it wasn't that interesting. But oh gosh, let's see, I don't know what the best answer to this one is. I don't know. I've always been just I think just because I had a preference for using pen very early on, like right when I was starting out as doing sketches or just drawing, I just always had that mindset of just like, oh well, that one sucks, I'll just do another one, kind of thing. So I don't remember ever like not feeling that way. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's
I
good.
already forgot how to.
I forgot the question too. I was kind of the same way with that. I don't know. Even now, I feel bad when I undo or something and use guidelines. I'll use it for the teaching, but I don't know. It's a tough battle because I feel like sometimes I'll beat my head against the wall when I'm trying to do things without any sort of underdrawings at all. Because I am trying to get to the point where you don't have to use any. But sometimes I'm not sure if that's just because I'm being stubborn and I shouldn't take a step back.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you working on right now? By the way, I haven't talked about your art at all.
Oh yeah, well
you drawing a chair over here?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm drawing a chair. I was gonna draw this dude who's sad about his food being gone, and then I was gonna draw him from the back, but then I just turned it into a sketch of his chair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Doing some Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
That.
Speaking of my art, not to talk about myself, but somebody asked how you found my channel.
Oh, are you an artist too?
No, I'm not. Just a dude that draws chairs. How did you find the channel?
How did I find your channel?
Yeah.
I think it was just, I don't remember exactly. I mean, someone definitely linked some of your videos like a while ago, and I just checked them out. I don't remember who or where it was.
It was probably me spamming the internet.
It was probably in like Discord or something, where someone's like, "Hey, look at this video," and it wasn't even directed at me. Like, "Hey, Sinix, look at this video." They were just sharing it with someone else, and I was like, "Oh, this is an art video. I'll click that." And I was like, "Oh, this guy's interesting stuff," and he's got
cool.
you had like your little skits and your
Yeah.
thing. Oh, I like the way this guy approaches things. It's just fun.
Cool. Yeah. Somebody. A lot of people are calling me out about the skits, but it's gonna make them get more intense. They're just gonna be more and more obnoxious.
Just have fun with. I don't know. I think it's good to just have fun with stuff.
It is. This last week's. I don't know if you happen to see it, but this last week's was kind of.
I haven't watched it.
It was really stupid. We
then I look forward to watching.
There's a little bit of an internal lore going on with these really dumb stories. Like there's this one YouTuber, Filthy Frank. I don't know if you know of him.
Yeah.
And you know how he's got this whole like really deep backstory to everything that he's got going on. Well,
all kinds of lore.
Yeah, I kind of want to do that, but in the stupidest way possible. So somebody pointed out to me that there was an issue with my costuming last week, and one of my characters, Olden Day James, wasn't dressed up properly. So I made him Imposter Day James, and then we had a little bit of a fight scene on the New York City subway.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was.
I gotta watch that one.
It was a true thespian masterpiece.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah. So that's kind of fun. I like that.
So is that where are you gonna be the Filthy Frank of art? YouTube art.
That's kind of what I want to do a little bit. I don't know. I think I like doing that sort of dumb in public, kind of really poorly acted skits. I think that's where I'm going with that. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I feel you. It's okay. If it was up to me, I would be the internet comment etiquette of YouTube.
Oh, I love.
I can't. I can't let myself go there. Like, it was so tempting in the last video
to
like go to that extreme, but I was like, no, I can't. I gotta. Like, I'm just gonna be, a pariah if I start getting that silly.
I won't
and like
lie.
in the comments too. Every time I see comments now, I like get into that mindset where I just want to write something really like trolly or offensive and just like mess with people.
And you're like, wait a minute, I can't do that.
I gotta contain myself.
Yeah, especially now you can't do that with you have a channel that actually functions. But it would it's that channel is so funny though. I absolutely love that. Selfie Eric is my boy.
It is one of my favorite YouTube things.
Do you watch any H3?
I feel like I get him as a person too.
Yeah.
As he's been doing YouTube for like 10, also like 11 years, and just still doesn't take it seriously enough to like ever do stuff like on a consistent basis. It's just whenever he feels like it, which I'm like, I get that. I feel you. I feel your work ethic.
That's great. Yeah, all of a sudden your channel turns into internet comment etiquette, and you just start trolling everybody and leaving hateful comments on like Sycra's page.
Just like tweeting, making weird tweets to Joe Mad at the end of every episode.
And Fang Zhu.
Oh man.
I think I'm gonna wrap it up soon because I'm fatigued and I have to unfortunately bring an animal to the vet. But seriously, thank you so much for coming out here.
Babu?
Yeah, no, well, it's just a checkup for Babu. It's nothing bad.
No.
Don't worry.
Thank
you guys so much for coming out. Sinix, thank you for showing up. This is really awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to come back whenever. Tell Sycra that I said come on the channel too, so I can complete. So I can complete the YouTuber, the whole YouTuber thing. Yeah.
Sure.
Plug your stuff.
You gotta get on Draw with Chaz to complete the circle.
Yeah. I'll get everybody on there. Tell people what you're doing. Anything you're working on that you want to share, or.
Oh no, not really. I don't have projects. I'm just doing my YouTube videos. I'm gonna do more anatomy quick tips. I think that's my next video, is another anatomy quick tips.
All right, cool. I'm gonna be watching them because I need to step it up a bit, and I need to improve my painting. So I'll be watching.
All right,
man. Thank you so much.
It was a lot of fun being on here, and I'm looking forward to watching your channel get more and more interesting, and the lore get deeper and deeper. And I'm also looking forward to you coming out here so we can start an awesome metal band.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Modern Day James Sinix metal band. It will be the most guttural and heavy metal that anybody has ever heard. And also the most artistic. All right, bud. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon, all right?
All right.
Take
Thanks
care.
for having me on.
All right, guys. On that note, I am gonna head out. I'm a tired man, and I have to bring Babu to the bed. So I will talk to you guys later. Also, tomorrow I'm taking off because it's Christmas Eve. I want to spend time with my family. I'm a person too. I have family. I have friends. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.